Make the police look like they don't even work, man. Escape moment, man, everything.
I don't know.
Across the street, if you jaywalk,
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was there. They know about it. He told him in detail.
Behind me.
He came back. He was finishing it. He came back and said, "Wait, I forgot."
And like we was shooting, they was shooting. Shit was crazy. Me and 50 stared each other's in the eyes with guns drawn. Two that was friends and homies, and they came up in hip hop together.
Welcome to the Gossip Channel. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We're growing with you and because of you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit that milestone, a special prize will be waiting for you. Stay tuned. And now, let's get into the topic. Tonight, we kick things off with 50 Cent, showing the world exactly what a bold ninja he really is. Roll the clip. Amen. This all goes back to Summerjam 2003, when 50 decided to flip the script just like Jay-Z did 2 years earlier with those infamous pictures of Prodigy. But this time, it was J. Rule on the Summerjam screen, and the whole 50,000 crowd was cracking up while 50 mocked some of Ja's biggest songs. See, 50's history with Hot 97 is toxic, and Summerjam became the battlefield for some of his wildest controversies. And that's exactly what I'm breaking down for you today. First stop, Saturday, June 12th, 2004. 50 storming the stage, shutting it down, and literally catching chairs flying through the air while still rocking the crowd. While still performing? Nah, hold up. Did you actually see him snatch that chair midair? That was straight up bananas. This wild moment went down at Summerjam 2004. But the real question is, why was the crowd even throwing chairs at 50 Cent in the first place? Turns out, 50 had beef with one of his old homies from the block, Bang'em Smurf. Once tight, their friendship blew up and they weren't rocking with each other anymore. So what did Smurf do? He copped front row seats just to face off with 50, fully knowing he'd be on stage. And he didn't come alone. Smurf rolled in deep with his crew, ready to stir up chaos that night. He pulled up with 19 dudes deep, locked in, ready to shut down 50's whole performance if they had to. All through the set, Smurf and his crew stayed right up front, heckling, taunting, and trying to throw 50 off his game. After a while, 50 had enough, so he grabbed a bottle and splashed water straight at Smurf in the crowd. That's when it went left. Smurf's entourage snapped back and started launching chairs onto the stage at 50. Smurf later tried to say he never told his people to throw anything, but once water got tossed, the chaos was already lit. 50 was heated after that chaos and stormed off the stage. Not long after, the fallout hit hard. Bang'em Smurf got banned from Hot 97 and Summerjam for life, while 50 himself got hit with a massive ban from Summerjam that lasted a whole decade. Yeah, 10 years locked out. He wasn't banned from Hot 97. At least, not yet. But trust me, that drama was right around the corner. What went down next was something no radio station had ever been through before. Around this time, Game was stepping into the picture. Y'all know the story. Dr. Dre asked 50 to bring him into G-Unit. Game started popping up on G-Unit mixtapes to build his name, and 50 even laced him with songs that later ended up on Game's debut album. Some of the tracks 50 handed over to Game ended up being the biggest hits on his whole album. Tony Yayo even admitted he wished 50 had kept those records for himself instead of giving them away. But according to Game, 50's only real input on the project was a few hooks and the verses where you actually hear him rap. The problem? Game was cool with almost everybody 50 was beefing with, and having Jimmy Henchman as his manager only stirred the pot even more. G-Unit was moving strong, 50 was in his prime, and it was clear Jimmy Henchman was playing his role in fueling that tension. Eventually, during an interview on Power 105, 50 dropped the bomb. He announced that Game was officially out of G-Unit, and right there, everybody knew it wasn't just music anymore. The beef had officially begun. 50 Cent later pulled up to Hot 97 for an interview with Funkmaster Flex, breaking down why he had to kick Game out of G-Unit. But while 50 was live on air, word is Jimmy Henchman was heated about his client getting dropped and allegedly sent Game and some heavy hitters straight to Hot 97 to press 50. At the time, 50 was inside with the whole G-Unit squad. Security wasn't letting Game and his crew through the doors, but that didn't stop things from exploding. Tension snapped, fists flew, and then shots started ringing out, bullets flying outside the station. As soon as G-Unit heard Game was downstairs causing mayhem, they cut the interview short and rushed out. There's still mad confusion about what really went down that night, and a lot of that comes from Game constantly flipping his story whenever he gets the chance. In one interview, he swears 50 slipped out the back door just to dodge facing him. But then, in another version, Game switches it up and claims he and 50 were standing face to face, staring each other down like some old school Wild West duel. Now tell me, does that sound solid to you? First it's 50 ducking out, then suddenly it's them pulling guns and blasting like it's a shootout straight out of a video game. The way Game tells it, the whole scene went from a backdoor escape to full-on Grand Theft Auto chaos. Now follow me here, because in one clip, Game claims 50 Cent was rolling with NYPD and a squad of armed security while him and his homie were outnumbered and outgunned. Basically, Game was painting it like 50 had way more men on his side that night. But then, surprise, surprise, Game flipped the story again in another interview, saying he and 50 actually squared up man to man. And just when you think he's done switching it up, he drops a new version, this time claiming he had 70 men with him. Yes, 70. Every time he talks about that night, the numbers and the details keep changing like he's rewriting the script. Come on now. Not even Hollywood scriptwriters could keep up with the way Game keeps remixing this story. But no matter how many versions he tells, one thing is for sure. There really was a shootout outside Hot 97 that night. Game did pull up with his crew, and during the chaos, one of his boys caught a bullet in the leg. Luckily, it missed anything vital, and he made it out alive. But that moment turned Hot 97 into straight mayhem. From that day forward, people started calling it Shot 97. The fallout was massive. 50 and the whole G-Unit got banned from the station because this was no small situation. Still, Hot 97 couldn't ignore the fact that 50 was one of the biggest rappers alive, and having him on air guaranteed crazy ratings. Hot 97 had to switch things up to another level. They stopped letting 50 in their main studio. Whenever he came around, they'd move him into a different room just to keep the tension under control. That's how polarizing he had become for the station. Meanwhile, after getting kicked out of G-Unit, Game used the Summerjam stage as his chance to troll 50. Remember, this is the same festival run by Hot 97. During his set, Game launched what he called the G-Unot campaign. On stage, he brought out a giant rat prop, claiming it represented 50 Cent. But here's the twist. Another person often accused of being a rat was none other than Game's own manager, Jimmy Henchman, and 50 didn't hold back. He even went on Hot 97 multiple times, straight up calling Henchman a rat. Now these weren't just little jabs. 50 was throwing around serious accusations that made Ebro and the other Hot 97 hosts super uncomfortable every time he brought it up. Remember, after that wild 2004 incident with Bang'em Smurf, Hot 97 banned 50 from Summerjam, and that ban stretched for a whole decade. Finally, in 2014, they let him back on stage for a massive G-Unit reunion. This was a big deal, the type of headline moment everyone was waiting for. Hot 97 even kept it under wraps to shock the crowd, and 50 admitted he was hyped to finally make his comeback at Summerjam. After 10 years gone, you'd think he'd keep it cool, right? No drama, no chaos, but nah, on his very first performance back at Summerjam after the decade-long ban, things blew up again, and 50 ended up getting banned all over. Affiliate Slowbucks made the mistake of snapping a picture with 50 Cent's son, Marquise. Now, Marquise is 50's firstborn, but they don't have a relationship at all. In fact, 50 has said some cold things, even claiming Marquise doesn't exist to him and that he wouldn't care if something happened to him. Savage. For anyone else, that picture would have been harmless. But with 50, That was pure disrespect. As soon as 50 saw the post, he dropped a comment saying straight up, "This picture was a bad idea." Uh-oh. But Slowbucks clearly didn't take the warning seriously. Fast forward to Summerjam 2014. 50's back on stage for the big reunion, surrounded by what looked like 100 people up there with him. And that's when the tension around that picture was about to explode in front of everyone. It felt like 50 brought the whole hood on stage with him that night. The energy was wild, bodies everywhere, the reunion popping off.
Promoter part of you who promotes big events.
Of course.
That if anything
And
like
you
that
know-
ever happened, you would never let the person come back to your building
It's
ever
happened.
again.
It's happened. And I didn't let 50 Cent come back.
Oh, when 50 threw the chair, right. So
No, when he threw the chair and then we let him back and then the Slowbucks thing happened. That was it.
Bro, for Game, I remember like, this how we doing all that stuff. Like, Game is a dope artist, but I remember hearing that on my condo, and I looked at Fifth like, you gonna give this nigga this shit? This is how we do all that shit, hated, love it. I'm looking at him like,
Slowbucks wanted in on the moment too, so he stepped up on stage, rocking his chains, looking fresh, trying to shine in front of everybody. But while the performance was rolling, 50 slipped into the crowd, came back out holding a water bottle, and then, suddenly, boom! Slowbucks got jumped right there on stage, his chain snatched clean off in front of the world. And the coldest part, the second 50 turned his hat backwards. That looked like the silent signal for Slowbucks to get handled. That whole scene looked like something straight out of a mob movie, like Don Corleone giving the silent nod to get somebody hit. Now, I'm not saying 50 personally called the shots on Slowbucks getting jumped, but a lot of people still whisper that he did. Think about it. Would any artist just keep performing, unfazed, while somebody was getting stomped out and robbed on the same stage, unless they knew exactly what was happening? That's why folks say allegedly 50 had his hand in it. After the chaos, Summerjam banned 50 once again. Later, Angie Martinez pressed him about the situation during an interview on Hot 97, but 50 kept it cool. He said, "Look, I didn't have anything to do with that," and even claimed he didn't know a thing until he saw it blowing up on social media. All Curtis Jackson claimed he saw that night was just smiling faces. Ebro later confirmed on Hot 97 that yes, 50 was officially banned again after that mess. But the story didn't end there, because 50 always finds a way to spin it back in his favor. In one of his more recent Hot 97 interviews, 50 straight up trolled the station on their own show, clowning them about how Summerjam's influence on radio had dropped. It's hot out here, man, real hot. You barely ever see 50 and Hot 97 on the same page, and when they do link up, the energy is toxic. At this point, it feels like they can't stand him. But here's the twist. When 50 shows up, the ratings shoot through the roof. Truth is, they need him way more than he needs them. And there you have it. Let me know what you think about all this madness. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe to the Gossip channel so you never miss the next wild story.